What is up, everybody? Skratch coming up with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Well, since the Empowerment, the Faction Guardians, the dupe system came out, a lot of people, including myself, we had massive concerns on how will the champions actually perform once you empower them. How OP will actually be a +4 champion, right? Then a lot of us thought that champions that are not as popular, non-meta champions, will become much better once you manage to empower them. If you are lucky or unlucky enough to have enough copies to make a +4 from an average non-meta champion, you know? And I really want to see how is the empowerment actually affecting the game. We are like, what, 5-6 months in since the dupe system came out, maybe even more. Time is just flying, but it's been a very long time since this is in the game now. So let's have a look at what exactly is happening. I finally managed to make a +4 champion, a NUKER, guys. I managed to make a +4 Ithor. So what I want to do in today's video is to give the same gear on a +4 Ithor and a Ronda that has 0 empowerment and see which one of them performs better and see how much is actually a +4 empowerment helping your champion in the game. But before we move over to talk about all that, guys, if you enjoyed the music you hear in the video, I partner up with Soundstripe. They have an amazing music library, so feel free to check them out. You will be finding the link in the description down below or in the pinned comments. Plus, I can save you 15% on checkout by using code Skratch on any subscription. Now, how I specified, guys, empowerment. We're gonna do a test in the Doom Tower. We're gonna do a couple of fights in Arena with the exact same gear. I'm super curious to see the results. What exactly it means to have a +4 NUKER, right? Because that should be like, wow, the creme de la creme. Now, I can actually make other +4 champions, but I'm not insane enough to just waste chickens instead of keeping them and selling them for tokens later on or do something like that. I'm definitely not gonna do a +4 Roanas or some other Pepega champion in here. But basically, when we're talking about empowerment on a NUKER, right? All of us are kind of like on the same opinion that the NUKERs benefit the most out of the +4 empowerment because you're gaining 10 crit rate, 30 crit damage at +4, which is pretty huge because that allows you to bring in more attack. And the 30% crit damage is not something to play around with. So basically, 40% attack, 15 speed, the crit rate, the crit damage on a NUKER is crazy. When we're talking about the rest of the stats, when we empower champions, and we're talking about non-NUKERs, the accuracy and the resistance are the most OP thing that you're getting on them, including the speed afterwards, but the main thing is the accuracy and the resistance. You having a +4 Duchess puts my debuffers in such an awful position if you're building them on resistance, because you're going to be able to get 850 plus resistance on your champions, and I'm not going to be able to get as much accuracy on a Madame series. I could get it on a Kymar, but again, depending on what sort of team you're using in your arena defense as an example, it can be pretty bad just because of that high accuracy and that high resistance depending on what sort of champions you're building. Warlord, Duchess, etc. I just kind of gave you a couple of examples there. But when you're talking about NUKERs, man, that crit rate, crit damage, and attack is literally what makes it worth it the most. That's why you wanna try and get dupes of the meta NUKERs like Ronda, Rotos. And yeah, Ithor is definitely one of the top NUKERs in the game. Is Leorius, Candy. We don't really have tons and tons of insane NUKERs in the game. So I managed to get my Ithor at +4. His attack is a bit low, honestly. I feel like for a +4 champion, he should be having way more attack than this. At least like 500 more attack. But hey, we'll be happy with what we have right here. So what I'm going to do afterwards, guys, I'm gonna move this gear on Ronda, okay? Because I want to see with the same gear. I'm not trying to match the same stats because I cannot do that with a +0 Ronda, okay? Compared to a +4 Ithor, because the stats are just going out of the roof. But total stats on our Ithor: 7.8k attack, 49k HP, 197 speed, 100 crit rate, 322 crit damage. I do have some accuracy and resistance, which actually can help me to land that weaken. I don't need accuracy for PvE anymore. This accuracy is more than enough for any single dungeon. I'm running him as a campaign farmer as well, so we're gonna see what he can do on Nightmare just for a quick run at +4, just to showcase him as well in the meantime. In terms of masteries, I'm pretty much gonna get the same masteries on Ronda and on him. In terms of offense, I don't care about the defense tree and support tree because that doesn't increase our damage. Tier 6, we have Helm Smasher, and we have every single mastery that gives us damage. Ruthless Ambush, we have Bring It Down, and we have Kill Streak if we're killing anybody, but the main idea is to see the initial hits. So I do have support tree on him because I am running him in campaign and I want to get more speed and all that. I'm going to transfer all this gear to Ronda afterwards. The accessories, they will be different 100% because I don't have the same accessories on Ronda. But mainly, it's kind of going to give you the idea of what exactly can a +4 champion do compared with a non-empowered meta champion. That's kind of like the whole idea behind it. Let's give it a quick run in campaign just so you guys can see what he can do on stage 6. 6 seconds already. You've seen that's definitely not something to mess around with, you know. Let's see how fast he's going to go. One-shotting everything, right? Now, one thing I haven't got on him, and since he is a campaign farmer, I'm supposed to get it on masteries, but it's fine just to decrease the cooldown when we exceed 30% of the target's HP. But it's pretty straightforward. +4 Ethos is gonna do a 6 to 8 seconds nightmare campaign. If we're gonna go in the Doom Tower, that's kind of like where I wanna go. I don't wanna go in the dungeons because they don't have enough resistance, and Ronda is gonna stun them, and that's kind of like gonna put us off. We're not gonna be able to see what sort of damage they're actually doing there. But I'm quickly gonna change this team from here and bring in some of these champions. So we can go in like that. I'm gonna bring in more speed just to make sure they're not gonna cut on us, you know. And let's see, how much damage can he actually do? Can he one-shot these waves here or no? So I'm gonna keep it on 1 speed just to make sure we are seeing everything right. Now, unfortunately, it seems like we haven't gave her enough thermometer and she might mess us up now. Yep. Okay, we're fine. We didn't got locked on Ithor, so we can actually go straight forward from here. We can give more thermometer. Now, let's see the damage with the A3. This skill actually has the higher multiplier on it. You can actually run this without crit rate at all, you know, and it's gonna be crazy. Just build him with 400 crit damage, but it's not really working in the current meta. I feel like Ethos would have been super strong if he would ignore the reaction accessories. This attack is always critical. Ignore that reaction, and then more people would use Ethos 100%, but it's something that most probably they are not going to do. So let's check out the damage right here with the hardest hitting skill that we have on him. 120, 168, 217. Now, depending on how much defense each enemy has, the damage kind of like fluctuates in there, you know. So let's back out and come back to it again, because why not? We can actually do that. We kind of seen the numbers. You guys are going to be able to see them a bit better on the screen compared to me, because I'm in the middle of the action while you guys are not, basically, you know. So let's give it another go. I want to use the A3 again, and then we're going to move over to the A2. But we don't really need to keep the speed low till we actually get at the part where he's using his skill, you know. So we actually see the damage. So let's do that. Give him more thermometer so he can finally get a turn. So we lowered the speed. I'm going to zoom out a bit, and let's see again. 121. So we actually managed to one-shot a Euros this time around. We haven't one-shotted that War Mama because she got resisted on defense down. Valkyrie, she still has a bit of HP, like kind of to this line. We're going to be able to compare it after with Ronda, guys. I know I need to do like hundreds of runs to get the exact numbers because it's the RNG in the damage and stuff. But it's just to kind of give us an idea, you know. If the damage difference is going to be substantially big, we're going to notice. If it's not, we're going to be like, okay, that's actually worth it to use a +4 non-meta champion compared to a non-empowered meta champion, basically, you know. So that was the A3 on him. If we're going to bring him back in the run replay, okay, let's see. Hopefully that Countess Leaks is not going to lock us. Sometimes she's getting enough thermometer to skip the turn. Sometimes she's not. So I'm a bit confused, like what is happening there. But okay. Everybody has defense down weaken. So now we're gonna go with the A2 instead of the A3. This is a triple hit. This is one thing that I like about Ithos, right? 3 hits actually increase the chance to crit against reaction in arena because it's a triple hit. That's actually pretty interesting, but he doesn't feel like he has enough damage, at least my opinion, for the moment in arena. We're gonna do a couple of fights in arena as well before we actually change the build on him, but let's have a look at this. Okay, so that is pretty solid damage. 56k hit, 60 plus k hit. If we're kind of like going to compare it with the A3, it's almost the same amount of damage. At least on this Valkyrie, it's the same amount of damage that she took in the previous run when we used the A3. Now, Ham Smasher might proc on a hit, it might not proc on the other, but overall, it's definitely not a bad damage. We're gonna give it another run just to have another look at all these guys. Then we're gonna do a couple of arena fights, and then I'm going to change the build on Ronda, so we can actually say our final opinion on it, you know. Let's see. Okay, so we are on 1 speed. Nobody got resisted. Let's give it another go. 48k, 58, 59, 44. So pretty much kind of the same thing. We can see how much damage he's actually doing with the A3, with the A2. He's kind of struggling to kill these 3 champions because they have a higher defense, okay? Right, so we're gonna build Ronda with all the gear from Ithos except the boots, because these boots, they actually have 10 crit rate, and the other boots from Ithos, they don't. Basically, that's where she is. 7k attack, 101 crit rate, 292 crit damage. So we're actually missing, what? 30 plus or 40 plus crit damage, and we're missing 800 attack on this Ronda. That is crazy, right? 800 attack is a lot, 40 crit damage, again, is a lot. So these are the boots that I kept on him because I need crit rate on them, while Ronda has crit rate on those boots. We've seen what Ithos can actually do, but if we're talking about Ronda, right? She has very powerful skills as well, like her A2 is so unique in the game. The A3, very powerful skill. And then we have the Aura. Increases ally magic attack by 36%. Now, we're not going to use these guys because that's going to give her even more attack. And I don't want to use it only if needed, you know. Probably sometimes I would use it in arena. Sometimes I would not use it. So it's hard to kind of like make a decision like that because it's very situational, you know. But if we're going to remove again all these and we're going to bring in action. 1, 2, 3, 4 with Kaimar, and that's my damaged Ronda. Let's see how much damage she can actually do on the exact same waves, right? She is a 0 empowered champion, and a champion with no empowerment. I kind of can't speak anymore. I'm losing it here. But let's see. Let's see. So, Ronda, we're going to start with the A3, A2 afterwards, okay? So, Ronda's A3, no empowerment. Yeah. You've seen that already. Yeah, look at the damage. I'm not gonna say more, just look at the damage. We're gonna come back to it again. Let's see the second round. Ronda's A3. A non-empowered Ronda versus a +4 Ithos, Void Legendary Champion, right? A lot of people used to say Ithos is the best nuker in the entire game. He destroys. Well, let's see it again. Ronda's A3 coming in action. Ladies and gentlemen, are we ready? Ow! Ow, ow, ow. That's how powerful a Ronda is. And I haven't even used her A2, which is so unique, guys. If I'm gonna come in with the A2 as well, let's give it a go and see the damage here. What exactly is going to happen with that? Now, these are defensive-based champions as well. They have tons of defense. Sorry, not all of them are defense-based champions. But as an idea, I'm gonna A2 a Eurost, okay? He's pretty tanky. He is a HP-based champion, but he has a lot of defense. So let's see what we can expect from the A2. Guys, plus 4 champions, still not powerful enough to compete with the meta champions. That's kind of like to give you guys an idea, you know. I really wanted to try this week because I was curious if a plus 4 ethos will be better for my arena offense than a non-empowered Ronda. Well, I just got my answer. If we're gonna move over to arena, guys, I'm not even gonna try another A2 with this Ronda because we already know what's going to happen, right? So in terms of arena, guys, I'm gonna try to attack the exact same 2 teams with Ronda 2. I'm gonna have to refresh the page till I find the same opponent. The problem is there are not many tanky teams around. I have a couple of guys that are constantly on my page, like this Tiger guy and Evans. So we're gonna have to attack those 2 and see how well will the team actually perform, you know. I'm actually going to go like this. I'm not gonna use increased attack. Now, with Ronda, you have the benefit of the aura, because she has increased attack aura instead of crit rate. So that's actually a pretty solid thing. Is you can actually use it or not use it. But if I'm gonna rely on Ethos to use the increased crit rate aura, no, I need speed aura. I cannot build him without crit rate, you know what I mean? So that's kind of like a one thing. Okay, so that's one team, and let's see. We're gonna use the A3. And everybody went down. The problem is there are not many tanky champions. He had reaction, you see? So with every single hit we had on MK, we barely dealt any damage, even though it was a triple hit. Which is kind of like crazy, huh? What is happening? Why? I actually want to use the A3 after from Ethos. Okay. So we're going to use the A3 this time around. 164k hit, bang. Send him to sleep. If we're going to attack this team, for example, Nekret, Duchess, Sifi, Rotos. I like that. So let's give it a go against this one. And hopefully they will be on my page once I refresh again, because I've actually recorded this before with different opponents and I couldn't find them again. I wasted like 50 gems. So let's see this time around. Maybe we're going to be more successful. Now, this time around, again, I am going to start with the A3 since we have Rotos in here. They kind of took their turns. Let's see what power we're getting out of it. We were gonna one-shot that Sifi. Duchess, no, because of Nekret's passive, right? But overall, definitely not a bad damage. Now, I'm actually gonna let them revive and do whatever things they're doing. Buff. Okay, she's going to buff afterwards. That's fine. Okay. I actually heard that before. And now we're gonna try to A3. Let's see what's gonna happen with the A3 from him. That Duchess, full HP, right? Send her to sleep. But not Nekret, which is actually pretty strange that he didn't got one-shotted. Reaction couldn't proc on him because he already got his turns. So that's a bit strange. I thought that we were definitely gonna melt him down as well. Seems like no. Now, if we're gonna refresh the page, I'm just gonna make sure I have the same opponents on the list, right? So none of them here. I'm actually gonna do it again in the hope to find them. Not. We haven't found them again. Okay, we got one of them, and then we got them both on the same list. So we're gonna bring Ronda in and see what she can actually do against the exact same teams. I'm just gonna take that Ethos out. I'm gonna make sure it's not on auto because I don't want the AI to go crazy. And I haven't even used her lead, man. If I'm gonna use her lead, sometimes I will end up in using the lead against slow teams like this, you know. But if we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do that, we do have indeed 2 force champions in the team, you know. So I'm actually gonna do that. And now I'm gonna use the A3. You know, so we got weak hits, but it's pretty much the same cup of tea. Tons of damage compared to the rest. I'm actually gonna let it go on auto from here on because it's gonna be more than enough to deal with this. It's actually hard to believe and crazy to think about that an empowered champion, a void legendary, right, is not as powerful as a non-empowered one, man. Like, that kind of shows how wrong we were, a lot of us that stressed about the empowerment, including myself, right? Because I was like, oh my god, this is completely gonna break the game. It's gonna be so unfair It's actually not that bad. How I specified, the main thing that... Okay, we're actually getting wrecked here because of the affinity, seems like. The main thing was that the accuracy, resistance, speed will actually take your tanks to a whole different level. I'm actually going to leave this like this. We've seen the damage. Mountain King got lucky. That's kind of like the benefit. Void affinity, magic affinity. If I was actually manualing the whole thing, probably was not going to happen. What about if we go against this team? The exact same opponents, guys. That's why I actually climbed all the way to the top of Platinum Arena, because it's making it easier for us to be able to test it like this, you know. So everybody got their turn. We shouldn't be hitting any reaction. Ronda, no attack up, not empowered. I repeat that because I kind of like the sound of it. Bang! One-shotting everybody, man. Everybody. I'm actually gonna try to land that fear. Okay. It didn't happen. It's crazy, isn't it? Or it's just me thinking that it's crazy. But in a way, I'm a bit disappointed because I really had higher hopes for my +4 ethos. You know, I thought that maybe he's gonna be something more than just a campaign farmer. But seems like for the moment, that's kind of like his job till his multiplayers they get a bit buffed, if that's ever going to happen. But guys, that was all for this video. Do let me know in the comments down below. How do you feel about empowerment, empowered champions? How much harder you think it is to beat the teams with empowered champions? I honestly don't feel such a big difference. How I specified, if we're going right here, like champions that they have these support ones, like Kymar. A +4 Kymar is very powerful. You gain the speed, the accuracy, a +4 Sifi, Duchess, Necret, etc. You're gaining a lot of resistance. That is very powerful for those sort of champions. But I do want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. That was all for this video. I will be live on Twitch TV by the time you're seeing this video, guys. I'll catch you all soon in the next one. Much love. Appreciate all of you watching. Stay safe and peace.